Chances are you are in the business of selling, and maybe you run a business and so you sell to clients and to customers. Maybe you're a sales rep and you sell for your job that you work at. Maybe you're just a human being in which you have to sell yourself all the time in life. Life truly is a game of sales. Now, this video is not about sales. It's about AI tools that can bulletproof your sales process, make you more efficient, increase conversion rates, and ultimately just make your job and your life a little bit easier. Personally, for me, I cut my teeth in sales. I was a sales rep for a long time, and if some of these tools had been around, I would have cleaned up. There's no doubt about it. But now I run a business, so I can still take advantage of them. So regardless of the type of selling you do, this is going to be beneficial for you. And even if you're not in sales, these tools are also relevant for research, for all types of stuff. I won't spoil it because it's really interesting, and I put a lot of time into putting this together for you. So with that said, I want to walk you through the 4 main tools that I use that I believe you should use in your sales process or research process, etc. And we're going to start basic and we're going to scale upwards in complexity. Okay, so number 1 is going to be Grock. Now, you might kind of roll your eyes at this. Why Grock? Why does it matter? Well, the main reason is because it can run deep research reports a lot faster than ChatGBT or Gemini. You're probably familiar with the deep research feature. It's where these LLMs will take a long amount of time to go research and parse through even scientific journals and all types of academic papers. And, ChatGPT and Gemini can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the complexity of the research. Grock can do that same research very, very quickly. And that's one of the main reasons why I like it. It's incredible at parsing the web and pulling out that information, but it can also reference X, formerly known as Twitter, which is a data goldmine. So it has access to more data than really any of the other LLMs. And I just wanted to run a very quick example for you to show you how it works. So playerx.gg, this is a company I worked with for a long time, still do. And it's basically a fantasy sports solution for esports. And so I wanted to try to see what kind of information that I could find, because when you're selling to someone, you want to know, like, how much revenue is this company making? What's their funding? And so, I simply put in very simple prompt, not super dressed up or anything. Find revenue or funding information for playerx.gg. It thought for 4 minutes and 36 seconds. This would have taken probably 20 to 30 minutes with ChatGPT or Gemini. And, essentially it came back with the exact information. This is correct about what it is. And it also let me know the exact funding numbers. So this was a very helpful start. And then it links to more of the information if you need it. And this is incredibly helpful as a sales rep, because you need to know what kind of funding. If I was a sales rep, I would have said funding information and revenue. Now, playerx.gg is still in development, so the revenue is not there, but it would show it if it was. And so you can go into a call knowing, does this company make $1 million a year or $100 million a year? How many employees do they have? How much revenue do they have per employee? The other example I wanted to give was of myself. I just wanted to see what it would come back about. Find information about Sam Knight's company, Integri. That's my business where we integrate AI into other businesses. And it nailed it. I mean, it hit it out of the park with all of this information. AI-focused company that assists businesses in integrating artificial intelligence to eliminate repetitive tasks, reduce software, and enable teams to focus on high-value work. This is it. I mean, it's literally exactly what it is. So, yeah, really, really cool, actually. It even pulled up my LinkedIn. Yeah. What other information did it pull up about me? YouTube, LinkedIn. Interesting. Yeah, so it nailed it. It nailed both of those prompts. And, no surprise. I knew it was going to. That's why I want to use those examples. But the point is, deep research quickly. And sometimes you might only have 5 or 10 minutes before a call with a potential client or a potential customer, and you need to know information as quickly as you possibly can. So that's Grock for you. A little bit deeper than just the standard, chatbot LLM features. So the next one that I want to discuss is the ChatGPT agent. I actually have a whole video about this that you can go and watch. It's pretty informational, but this video is specifically about the sales side of things. So, most founders and sales teams waste their time doing the same task repeatedly. They manually research leads, they write copy, they follow up on autopilot. I mean, you get it. We have to do these things, and it becomes very manual labor, and it becomes very frustrating labor. But what if the solution was a ChatGPT agent that acts as a full cycle SDR? So essentially, ChatGPT SDR is how you can think about it. But this can do so much. I mean, I don't know if you've used the agent feature yet, but you basically go to ChatGPT and you say, hey, I need you to research and enrich data about this company. I mean, this video isn't going to be long enough for me to explain all the ways that you could actually implement this, but essentially what it will do is the difference in using regular ChatGPT versus ChatGPT agent is you say, hey, ChatGPT, find this information. And it's going to take what you want and it's going to try to pull it from the web. Agent is going to actually decide the best way to find the information, the best way to present it. And it's going to go through a series of iterations. It might log into websites like ZoomInfo to pull that information and to pull that data. And so it's going to take a lot longer, but it's also going to be a lot better. And actually, a great example. Okay, so here's a great example. I'm going to a music festival and I wanted to find hotels close to it. Obviously, this isn't sales, but you'll understand the context. I wanted to find a upscale hotel close to it that has a sauna. So normally it would just basically parse Google Maps and pull it. But instead what it did, it worked for 23 minutes and you can actually see the work that it's doing live. So, I mean, it's going deep to try to understand where these hotels are, what the best options are. Do they have a sauna? Do they not have a sauna? And it's really cool because you can literally watch the computer do all of this work that you asked. So it's way more in depth than simply just asking for a Google search. And I actually tested this by just asking ChatGPT 4.0 instead of the agent, and the responses it gave me were very average, actually, in my opinion. So ChatGPT agent is essentially like your little assistant that will go out and handle manual tasks for you, freeing up your time to focus on the higher leverage opportunities. So you can do this for hyper-personalized outreach. Hey, go research these 20 people and find information and write a hyper-personalized outreach email to them. Icebreakers. There's a million ways you could spin this. But at the end of the day, if there's manual research that needs to be done, ChatGPT agent can handle it. And it can handle it. It's really good. I think it's also worth just considering, these tools are the worst that they're ever going to be. So if you can learn how to use them now, imagine how you can use them in 6 months to a year, because a year in AI terms is like a decade in regular world. So you learn how to use these now, you're going to become even more powerful in the future. These are more examples of just what ChatGPT agent can do. So you can pause this if you want to check this out and review it. But next I want to talk about Manus, presentation generation. So the problem is that most sales teams don't lose because their products or services aren't great, but it's because their presentation, it's all about communication. So usually their presentations fail to communicate the value. And that's so important when you're selling. Hey, you're going to pay me this, but you're going to get that. And a lot of people miss, you're going to get that. And that's the most important part. But it also needs to look professional. It needs to be tailored to each client's unique needs, and it needs to establish credibility and urgency for that matter. So creating high quality personalized decks usually requires time, but it doesn't have to anymore. So these are some examples of a sales pitch that I just had. Actually, I quoted a client, a pretty extensive build, pretty heavy build. And these are some examples of the slides that it built. And basically what I did is I just dumped an outline and it built all of these slides together. So we're building a pretty intense data solution for this company. I was seriously impressed with some of the slides that it put in here. It looked really, really good. Graphic design. They didn't pull it from some third-party website. It just nailed it, honestly. It even nailed the actual proposal slide. And I didn't include all of them just for security purposes, but this gives you a really good idea of how good Manus can be. It is an incredibly powerful and potent tool. So if we actually go to Manus, we can see here, there's a lot of things that you can use it for. And at the bottom, it actually shows you examples. So create an Instagram carousel. Let's see, it'll actually even show you the work as it was done. So I'm happy to create this. It's showing, kind of like the back and forth between it. Let me bring this over here so you can see it. And it will show you, this is crazy. It's literally building these slides out. So you can see the different slides. And yeah, it just does a fantastic job. It's really insane. So I like to use Manus anytime I'm building any type of presentation, any type of proposal, any type of additional information. It just nails it out of the park every single time. And this is really the main AI agent I use. I'm starting to incorporate ChatGPT agent a lot more for the use cases I mentioned. But for building things out and PowerPoints and presentations, Manus is as good as it gets. So I really couldn't recommend that enough. Now, moving on to the final solution I would recommend is Clay AI. Clay AI, you've probably heard a lot about it. It is an absolutely insane tool that does all types of stuff. The main thing that I use it for is enriching data. But just for some examples, I mean, sales teams are spending so much time researching and enriching leads, scrolling through LinkedIn profiles, yada, yada, yada. It's just a lot of manual work. But Clay automates a lot of this. It does prospect research, lead enrichment at scale. You can do basically find contact details. You can pull data points such as recent news, funding, revenue. It's kind of an all-in-one tool and really can honestly do just about anything that you want. It also seamlessly integrates into your CRM, which I found to be extremely helpful. You can have it alert you with real-time sales signals and alerts. And I'm not gonna lie, this tool is pretty much a must-have for anyone that is in sales. So, if you want to cut your research time by 75%, get personalization at scale, which is important, and most importantly, have accurate data, it's a no-brainer to use Clay. It's the most powerful AI tool I've used for sales, and you have got to use it. And I just thought, I wasn't going to include this in the video, but I just thought about a runner-up solution, and that is Appify. So if you're not familiar with Appify, it's basically like the world's greatest web scraper. And you can scrape Google Maps, you can scrape Instagram, you can build your own, you can scrape Amazon. I mean, it's freaking wild, honestly. Incredible tool. And so if you ever need to find information about a sales call or a presentation or something you have, Appify is an incredible tool to do so. So that's a nice little bonus tip for you. Selling is important, and speeding up the sales process is extremely beneficial to growing a business, being better at your job, or just improving your life. And so these are the tools that I would recommend to start with if you're wanting to add AI into your workflow and into your stack. So if you're not familiar, my whole channel is about AI for dummies, is what I'm calling it. But it's not dummies. You're not a dummy. I'm not a dummy. But it's people that don't have a technical or engineering background. How can we use these tools? How can we learn them? How can we implement them and put them into our life? So please leave a comment, ask a question. I'd be happy to answer it for you. If you have any tools that you use specifically, let me know, because I'm always searching for new ones, and I'm happy to dive deep and review it. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.